Are we ready to talk about some math?
This is the fun stuff. This is what everyone's been waiting for, asking for, begging for.
It's not, but it is one of the most important elements of Ticket to Freedom. And we've seen time and time again, people get lost in the low ticket realm because the numbers didn't check out. We've seen people have massive wins with the simplest low ticket funnels because the numbers checked out. And so we're going to walk through some scenarios in this video and just kind of show you how you can enter your own numbers, because you'll have access to this calculator to just see before you go down the path of, this is the low ticket offer I want to create. This is how much I think it should be. This is my backend offer. This is how much it is. This is the percentage of people that are going to convert from my low ticket to my backend. And how does the number shake out? Or if you don't have a backend offer, you have complete flexibility to change the price and to really kind of play with the numbers. And then the other thing that we're going to do is show you how quickly this can get super complex and how that is, in most cases, a huge distraction with very little upside versus just focusing on a couple of big levers or levers, however you pronounce it, that will have a big impact on your own custom math solution.
Yeah, so let's take a look at, first of all, you have access to this fancy schmancy freedom math calculator. So you will have full freedom to put your numbers in and play around with it. But first, we're going to run through right here a couple, example scenarios.
Yeah.
We'll talk through some rough benchmarks to consider, i.e., if you're expecting a 75% back-end offer conversion, this is probably going to fall apart because that's not typical. So we're going to kind of look at what numbers and conversion percentages to be aiming for. And yeah, we'll literally show you on here the biggest levers, because like Justin said, sometimes we've found ourselves working and stressing over, getting the upsell conversion from 8% to 12%, only to find that all of those hours we put in didn't move the needle that much.
Yeah.
So making sure that you're actually investing your effort when it comes to marketing and sales into the places in your funnel that actually make a remarkable difference.
Yeah. So let's start at the very basic level, which is you have a low ticket offer and you have a backend offer. So we're not going to talk about bumps and upsells and downsells and any shenanigans. Just I have an inexpensive front end product that I want to move people to. And so that's what this calculator on the far left is. It's literally just low ticket backend. So you can input how many units you want to sell of your low ticket offer. And I love to look at a monthly basis. So not in the realm of, hey, we've sold 10,000 mini workshop magics. It's great, but more so we want to sell, let's say, 2 a day. So 60 units a month, or we want to sell 1 a day. If I could sell 1 low ticket offer every day, wake up to a sale, it'd be awesome. 30. What does that actually like look and shake out to be? So if we're going to say 1 a day, 30, and mini workshop magic is $20. So we've made $600 this month on mini workshop magic. Now, of those 30 buyers, what percentage of folks are going to upgrade to our back end? And in our case, we have Ticket to Freedom. So I will do.
You want to do 1,500?
1,500. Okay. What are we thinking about here for conversions?
Well, so this is going to depend if this is an evergreen funnel where they're not coming to your low ticket offer live. So they're a little bit less likely to actually go through it. They're not getting as much of a touch point with you. And then they're just getting evergreen automated emails. It absolutely works. We love that model because it gives us so much freedom, but you're typically going to see a conversion rate between, 5 and 10%.
Okay.
If you've got a slam dunk offer, if you have really solid marketing skills, if the people coming into your low ticket offer are warm or a perfect fit, you can absolutely see higher. There's also situations where you may be able to make the math work with a lower conversion number. Let's say you've got a back end offer that's $10,000 or $15,000. You may have a 4% conversion rate, but the math still works. But I think in general, that's like an okay ballpark for an evergreen offer where everything's automated. If it's a live low ticket offer, so if we were doing a live mini workshop magic every month and upgrading people where they're getting to ask us some questions, there's live scarcity maybe where we say, hey, there's only 10 spots available for Ticket to Freedom. For those live upgrades, we typically are aiming, it can be a window, but anywhere between maybe 15 and 40% for live upgrades from a workshop to a back-end offer.
So in this example, as is, I did 7.5%. Let's just think that this is an evergreen kind of funnel. We're making use of our building blocks in the evergreen upgrade campaign. And it's $1,500 for Ticket to Freedom. So right now we're selling 30 mini workshop magics a month on evergreen, and we're upgrading about 2.25. We're upgrading a quarter of a person. Obviously doesn't make sense, but let's just go with this from the math. And in total, we are, about $4,000 a month. That may be enough for you. Like if we go back to your enough number and you say, you know what, I've got a funnel that sells one $20 product a day, and about 7.5%, 8% of those folks over the course of the month upgrade to my backend offer, which is $1,500. And I'm walking away with $4,000 a month from this tiny little product. That's awesome. You may say, awesome. This is exactly my freedom math. It's a great supplement to my business. I've got my coaching clients. I got my membership. I got whatever. This is literally just, extra cash flow. So You may find that works. You may also say, you know what? That doesn't work. But what does work is what Sarah just talked about, which is, what if my freedom path is doing it live? So instead of relying on an automated evergreen sequence, I just run a live workshop once a month. I get 30 people in there, and then I do a live upgrade campaign to those 30 people so that I can get this to, I'm not going to say 40% because that's like next level, but even 25%. Dramatic difference. So same number of people that have entered your workshop or your low ticket offer, right? We've got 30 people, but now you've put a concerted effort on doing it live and having a live campaign. And now you've upgraded 7.5 people. Again, doesn't make sense, but let's just go with it. And we've got a $12,000 a month. So the question to you is, would you be happy with that? Like, would you be happy with making $12,000 a month, running one live workshop and spending the week post workshop, working with your workshop attendees to help them get an amazing result, and then upgrading them to your $1,500 program, course, service, VIP day, whatever it is? That may be perfectly, that may be thrilling to you. That may be like, that's the model. I'm going to go that. And if that's the case, then you can ignore so much inside Ticket to Freedom. You can literally just ignore so much and just focus on those core blocks for each of that live launch, live upgrade, and your backend offer, and be stoked.
Totally. Now there's a few other levers that you could look at. So maybe you don't want to go to the live model. You're like, no, I'm sticking with the evergreen model at that, 7.5% conversion rate. But what I am going to do is, for us, we have never, ever done like organic, consistent social media promoting we focused on ad formats. So you may say, you know what? I have kind of relied on my existing audience and haven't put a lot in. I'm going to do an Instagram reel every day that takes me 5 or 10 minutes with, DM me or comment below if you want me to send you how to make this work. And I may realize that just by doing that and a couple Instagram stories every day, that's something we've never done. So it's an open lever. We might be able to get that number to 60 units sold without changing anything else. Just by doing that one thing, that might be the lever that we pull. Sure. And then here's something we did. We have a support option within Ticket to Freedom. So even though Ticket to Freedom is $1,500, you can add on, weekly or monthly coaching to get support from us. So we may realize that even though this calculator isn't quite that sophisticated to be able to do that stack, but let's say that we get our average order value or average client lifetime value to $4,000, not just by raising the price of Ticket to Freedom, although that's certainly something else that we could explore of just, hey, what if this was $2,000? What if this is $2,500? But by just getting enough people to upgrade into the support option. So as you can see, those are kind of some of the main levers to look at. We could look at that conversion number at 7.5%. What if we personally reached out to everyone who bought Mini Workshop Magic and that raised it to 10%? Or some other conversion mechanism. So that's what it looks like to kind of play with this calculator and say, what are my biggest levers? What can I change about the amount of low ticket offers I'm selling every month? The price of my back end offer and the conversion into my back end offer in order to get that total number every month to be at a place where I'm really content and happy and have that peace of mind and that freedom. And then I don't have to worry about all of the clutter. I don't have to launch a new offer every month. I don't have to have a huge product suite. I don't have to have multiple funnels. I don't need to be on every platform. Kind of what's that minimum thing that I need to get to?
Yeah. For the vast majority of y'all, we're going to recommend you just live right here, at least the beginning, like as you're getting started. And honestly, for most of y'all, this is literally all you have to live in, is just this low ticket to back end offer. Now, as you get more sophisticated or you start to explore paid advertising and potentially JV partners, like there's some things that need to change. And so that's why we have these two calculators next to it. They're a little bit more sophisticated. We're now talking about things like average order value with bump offers, those little checkbox that you can do at a checkout, or an upsell, like a one-time offer page where you buy the thing and then you're like, whoa, hold on, do you also want X, Y, and Z as well with that purchase? In this one, we get into downsells, which is someone didn't buy the upsell. Do you want to make them an offer that says, hey, whoa, what if I split the payments up? Or what if I include this bonus? What if I give you a free trial? How can I, again, downsell? How can I pull something out of the main upsell and price it less? But the idea here is these get more and more complex. And what's interesting is most of us on our freedom paths and where we're going with our own kind of version of Ticket to Freedom is, in a lot of cases, these are distractions. These are little things that can take a long time to optimize. And unless we're spending a lot on ads where a small percentage actually has a huge impact, again, what Sarah just talked about, the idea of like number of units sold. Can I work on my entry points? Can I work on getting more people into my audience? The conversion. So can I actually increase the conversion to my backend offer? Do I need to do some unscalable conversations? Do I need to reach out to buyers? Do I need to do buyer only Q&As? Do I like from a live or evergreen version? Do I want to switch some of these things so that if I've got the evergreen going, but every now and again I do these live elements to kind of bring up the overall conversion so it's a net gain. Like all these smaller things that can actually have a dramatic impact. So we see this time and time again, which is someone will come into Mini Workshop Magic or Low Ticket Made Easy, and then they will spend months laboring over what their bump should be or what their upsell should be because they don't have one. And it doesn't matter. That time could have been invested in more entry points, building better connections, optimizing their upgrade, having personal connections with people who have bought their products, and focusing on that back end conversion. Because as you see from this example, you got more people coming through and you have a higher conversion rate to your back end. Like those are the biggest levers to pull. So let's go through a couple of like other examples so people can see kind of how this shakes out and what we just talked about, where some of these don't necessarily have a big gain to be made.
Yeah. So if you are running ads or if you are selling, over 30 or 50 copies of your low ticket offer every month, or maybe you're appearing on, some podcasts, or you have some affiliates or partners that are sending traffic and you'd love to just make a little bit more with every sale and not have that front end offer be limited to the $10 or $20 or $50 price point. You can add, like Justin mentioned, a bump where you have a little extra add-on offer at the checkout. So for us, like with Mini Workshop Magic, we have a little bonus training called Workshop Profit Maximizers. That's our current bump. Who knows, it might change in the future, but
Yeah.
people can check that box and add that training. We've had upsells in the past. There've been things like the Workshop Launch Kit, which have templates, daily action items, kind of our whole internal vault of resources for launching a workshop. That's been our Mini Workshop Magic upsell for much of the time. Then we have a downsell, which is pulling just some promo posts out of that workshop launch kit and saying, hey, maybe you don't need all of the internal logistics, but if you want some proven social media posts to get more people into your workshop, that's the downsell offer. And you can see Justin put the numbers in there.
These are, again, conservative.
We
We don't want to set like wild
seeing
expectations with like a bump that converts at 70%. We've had that before. We've also had bumps that converted at 20, 25%. So like, what's that middle ground? An upsell, 15%. I mean, we definitely want higher. If you can see, if you're kind of in the ads realm, like the average order value is a little low at $66. It costs us more right now as of recording this to acquire a $20 purchase than $66. So if it's only $66, we're paying Mr. Zuckerberg $20, $30, $40 every single time someone buys our product. So instead of us making $20, we're paying $20, $30, $40, $50 to Facebook for that. So you can see, numbers may not check out here if I'm just looking at the front end, but now we have a back end, as Sarah talked about, it's converting at a 10%. It's at $4,000. So if we're talking about the support option, if I drop this down to just Ticket to Freedom, 1,500, well, we're still making, right, average order value $216. So if it costs us, let's say $100 flat to get a buyer, we're making $100 profit from the entire funnel with Ticket to Freedom included every single time someone buys Mini Workshop Magic. So that's kind of roughly what we're looking at. And you'll see here what we talked about with like worrying about things that don't really have a big impact. Like we spent months laboring over an upsell, changing the headline, re-recording the video, like just silly amounts of time. And if I increase this percentage, right, just look, right now it's $5,400. If I increase this percentage to, let's just say 20, 7,200, the average order value didn't really bump that much. I'll go back so you can see it. Right now it's 76, 66. So I'm basically getting $10 extra average order value by 15 to 20%.
That's a pretty big jump.
That's a huge percentage increase.
In the world of upsell conversions, going from 15% to 20% is like, whoa, this worked a lot better.
Yeah.
And it still is only increasing the average order value by $10. Yeah. And that's with us selling 180 copies. That's a lot of units every single month. A lot of units, that's selling, 5-6 copies of our workshop a day. And if you're selling 20 workshops a month, that extra $10 is just not going to go that far. And it would be way, way more powerful to spend more time getting your workshop in front of more people. So getting interviewed on podcasts or finding a platform where you enjoy showing up and can, in a very low lift way, share what you're working on a daily or semi-daily basis to get more people into that front end offer, or work on the overall back end offer conversion path.
Yeah. So if I'm looking at this, it's 20 units. Let's just say, again, we'll go back to the example. Let's get it to 60. And I'm looking at the total at the very bottom there, 4,500. It bumps to 13,500.
Yeah.
And so 3xing the number of people who buy the thing obviously impacts the bottom, bottom of the funnel, so to speak. Big lever to pull. That's a big thing you can do, is just get in front of more people. You've got your entry points. You've got an instant access product. You've got something that actually scratches an itch for someone. Like you just talking about it increases the chance of someone buying it. And you change nothing else in the funnel. Literally don't touch anything else. You just focus on getting more people in the top, and your revenue at the bottom jumps as a result. And the other thing, again, in this example, is we can sit and fuss around with the bump and the upsell and the downsell, or we can also just work on the conversion at the bottom. It's the same thing with this calculator.
I mean, what happens if you bump that up to 12%? or 15%.
Big jumps.
Yeah. So hopefully this helps you see where in your current setup, like I'd encourage you to put your current numbers in now, to kind of see where you're starting at, and then play around with what are the biggest needle movers for you to get to that freedom number or that enough number. And if you are starting at the point where you don't have a low ticket offer yet, or you have a low ticket offer, but you haven't settled on a back end offer yet, you have a beautiful, clean slate where you get to play around with some numbers and see what business model feels simplest to you. Does having a more expensive back end offer feel like, oh, wow, I only need to make 20 or 30 sales of my low ticket offer to hit my enough number? Or having a lower ticket back end offer might feel good to you, and getting realistic about, okay, that means I need to sell 100 copies of my low ticket offer. How can I do that in a way that feels good? You also may hit some red flags along the way of, oh, dang it, no wonder this has felt so hard and impossible. I have a low ticket offer that I'm selling 10 copies of a month, and I have a membership that's $25 a month, and I don't have a big audience. And so to hit my target freedom number, I need to be selling, 300 copies of my low ticket offer every month. And I only have 1,000 people in my audience. Like, that isn't going to happen. So this can be kind of that sobering reality check of, does your chosen business model match the stage of business that you're at when it comes to audience and leverage? Because you may have gotten really excited about having a low ticket membership, or kind of a mid-ticket course that's $200 or $300. But when you actually put the numbers in, you might realize your audience is not big enough to sustain those low price points. And you need to find a way to create more leverage in your business, maybe with a higher price back-end offer, or maybe with a very intentional, dedicated audience growth effort.
Yep. So there you go, friends. Play around with the numbers, play around with the units sold, the price, the upgrade conversion. Those are a lot of times the biggest lever. Kind of detach from this idea that this workshop or this low ticket has to be this much, and just kind of play around. Like, what does it look like if my workshop is not $10, it's $25? What does it look like if my upgrade percentage isn't 5%, it's 8%? What does it look like if I sell 2 a day? Like, can I get up every morning and plant the seeds to increase the number of sales over the course of the next 60 days to get to a point where I'm selling 2 low ticket offers every single day, and just see what shakes out, see what your number is, see if it matches your enough number, and see what you have to do to get there.
Yeah. And once you set those numbers and you've kind of figured out, okay, this is my low ticket offer price point, this is my back end offer, then you get to kind of overlay that on the freedom paths that we've talked about. So if you've chosen that live model from the freedom path video, if you've chosen to have an evergreen version, then you get to work to actually turning this into reality, getting those building blocks in place, and bringing the right folks into your world.